भगवते नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। उमाज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापरान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते कुपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्त नमोऽस्तु ते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। पञ्चकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमां विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामी निति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासारि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। प्रभु जय श्री प्रभुपाद। Okay, so we
Hare
continue.
Krishna, Subham Prabhu. Please have some humble obeisance, Roberts, Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Subham Prabhu Dandat Pranam Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Krishna Subham Prabhu.
Oh, we're here. While attempting to write this book, Krishna, let me first offer my respectful obeisances unto my spiritual master, Vishnupad. How is this said? I forgot.
Ashtodhar, I also.
Ashtot is the Ashtottara.
No,
Shri
no.
Srimad.
No. Yeah.
Okay, let's keep it.
I think it's in one of the videos. Yeah.
Yes, Prabhu. Shri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada ki jai. Then let me offer my respectful obeisances to the ocean of mercy, Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is the supreme personality of Godhead, Krishna himself, appearing in the role of a devotee just to distribute the highest principles of devotional service. Lord Chaitanya began his preaching from the country known as Gauda Desha, West Bengal. And as I belong to the Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya, I must therefore offer my respectful obeisances to our disciplic succession. This Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya is also known as Brahma Sampradaya because the disciplic succession originally began from Brahma. Brahma instructed the sage Narada. Narada instructed Vyasadeva, and Vyasadeva instructed Madhva Muni, Madhvacharya or Madhvacharya. Madhavendra Puri, the originator of Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya, belonged to the Madhavacharya disciplic succession. He had many renowned disciples, both in the sannyas, renounced, and household orders of life. Disciples such as Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Prabhu, and Ishvarapuri. Ishvarapuri happened to be the spiritual master of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So let us offer our respectful obeisances to Ishvarapuri, Nityananda Prabhu, Sri Advaita Acharya Prabhu, Srivas Pandit, and Sri Gadadhar Pandit. Next, let us offer our respectful obeisances to Swarup Damodar, who acted as the private secretary to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And let us offer our respectful obeisances to Sri Vasudeva Datta and the constant attendant of Lord Chaitanya, Sri Govinda, and the constant friend of Lord Chaitanya, Mukunda, and also to Murari Gupta. And let us offer our respectful obeisances to the six Goswamis of Vrindavan, Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatan Goswami, Sri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Sri Gopala Bhatta Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, and Sri Raghunath Das Goswami. Krishna himself has explained in the Bhagavad Gita that he is the Supreme Person of Godhead. Whenever there are discrepancies in the regulative principles of man's religious life and prominence of irreligious activities, he appears on this earthly planet. In other words, when Lord Sri Krishna appeared, there was a necessity of minimizing the load of sinful activities accumulated on this planet or in this universe. For affairs of the material creation, Lord Mahavishnu, the plenary portion of Krishna, is in charge. When the Lord descends, the incarnation emanates from Vishnu. Mahavishnu is the original cause of material creation, and from him, Karbodakasai Vishnu expands, and then Shirodakasai Vishnu. Generally, all the incarnations appearing within this material universe are plenary expansions from Shirodakasai Vishnu. Therefore, the business of minimizing the overload of sinful activities on this earth does not belong to the Supreme Person of Godhead, Krishna himself. But when Krishna appears, all the Vishnu expansions also join with him. Krishna's different expansions, namely Narayana, the quadruple expansions of Vasudeva, Sankarsana, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha, are as well as the partial plenary expansions of Matsya, or the incarnation of fish, and other Yuga avatars, incarnations of the millennium, and the Manvantara avatars, the incarnations of Manus, all combine together and appear with the body of Krishna, the Supreme Person of Godhead. Krishna is the complete whole, and all plenary expansions and incarnations always live with him. When Krishna appeared, Lord Vishnu was also with him. Krishna actually appears to demonstrate his Vrindavan pastimes and to attract the fortunate conditioned souls and invite them back to Godhead. The killing of the demons was simultaneous to his Vrindavan activities and was carried out only by the Vishnu portion of Krishna. In the Bhagavad Gita, 8th chapter, 20th verse, it is stated that there is another eternal nature, the spiritual sky, which is transcendental to this manifested and non-manifested matter. The manifested world can be seen in the form of many stars and planetary systems, such as the sun and moon, but beyond this there is a non-manifested portion, which is not approachable to anyone in this body. And beyond that non-manifested matter, there is the spiritual kingdom. That kingdom is described in the Bhagavad Gita as supreme and eternal. It is never annihilated. This material nature is subjected to repeated creation and annihilation, but that part, the spiritual nature, remains as it is eternally. The supreme abode of the personality of Godhead, Krishna, is also described in the Brahma Samhita as the abode of Chintamani. That abode of Lord Krishna, known as Goloka Vrindavan, is full of palaces made of touchstone. The trees are called desire trees, and the cows are called Surabhi. The Lord is served there by hundreds and thousands of goddesses of fortune. His name is Govinda, the primeval Lord, and he is the cause of all causes. There the Lord plays his flute, his eyes are like lotus petals, and the color of his body is like that of a beautiful cloud. On his head is a peacock feather. He is so attractive that he excels thousands of cupids. Lord Krishna gives only a little hint in the Gita of his personal abode, which is the supermost planet in the spiritual kingdom. But in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna actually appears with all his paraphernalia and demonstrates his activities in Vrindavan, then at Mathura, and then at Dwaraka. The subject matter of this book will gradually reveal all these activities. The family in which Krishna appeared is called the Yadu dynasty. This Yadu dynasty belongs to the family descending from Soma, the god in the moon planet. There are two different Kshatriya families of the royal order, one descending from the king of the moon planet and the other descending from the king of the sun planet. Whenever the Supreme Person of Godhead appears, he generally appears in a Kshatriya family because he has to establish religious principles or the life of righteousness. The Kshatriya family is the protector of the human race according to the Vedic system. When the Supreme Person of Godhead appeared as Lord Ramachandra, he appeared in the family descending from the sun god, known as Raghuvamsa. And when he appeared as Lord Krishna, he did so in the family of Yaduvamsha. There is a long list of the kings of the Yaduvamsa in the 9th canto, 24th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam. All of them were great powerful kings. Krishna's father name was Vasudeva, son of Shurasena, descending from the Yadu dynasty. Actually, the Supreme Person of Godhead does not belong to any dynasty of this material world, but a family in which the Supreme Person of Godhead appears becomes famous by his grace. For example, sandalwood is produced in the state of Malaya. Sandalwood has its own qualifications apart from Malaya, but because accidentally this wood is mainly produced in the state of Malaya, it is known as Malayan sandalwood. Similarly, Krishna, the Supreme Person of Godhead, belongs to everyone, but just as the sun rises from the east, although there are other directions from which it could rise, so by his own choice, the Lord appears in a particular family, and that family becomes famous. When Krishna appears, all his plenary expansions also appear with him. Krishna appeared along with Balaram, Baladeva, who is known as his elder brother. Balaram is the origin of Sankarshana, of the quadruple expansion. Balarama is also the plenary expansion of Krishna. In this book, the attempt will be made to show how Krishna appeared in the family of the Yadu dynasty and how he displayed his transcendental characteristics. This is very vividly described in the Srimad Bhagavatam, specifically the 10th canto, and the basis of this book will be Srimad Bhagavatam. The pastimes of the Lord are generally heard and relished by liberated souls. Those who are conditioned souls are interested in reading fictional stories of the material activities of some common man. Narrations describing the transcendental pastimes of the Lord are found in Srimad Bhagavatam and other Puranas, but the conditioned souls still prefer to study ordinary narrations. They are not so interested in studying the narrations of the pastimes of the Lord Krishna, and yet the descriptions of the pastimes of Lord Krishna are so attractive that they are relishable for all classes of man. There are three classes of man in this world. One class consists of liberated souls. Another consists of those who are trying to be liberated, and the third consists of materialistic man. Whether one is liberated or is trying to be liberated or is even grossly materialistic, the pastimes of Lord Krishna are worth studying. Liberated souls have no interest in materialistic activities. The impersonalist theory that after liberation one becomes inactive and needs hear nothing does not prove that a liberated person is actually inactive. A living soul cannot be inactive. He is either active in the conditioned state or in the liberated state. A diseased person, for example, is also active, but his activities are all painful. The same person, when freed from the diseased condition, is still active, but in the healthy condition, the activities are full of pleasure. Similarly, the impersonalists manage to get freed from the diseased conditional activities, but they have no information of activities in the healthy condition. Those who are actually liberated and in full knowledge take to hearing the activities of Krishna. Such engagement is pure spiritual activity. It is essential for persons who are actually liberated to hear about the pastimes of Krishna. That is the supreme relishable subject matter for one in, oh, there's so many, for one in the liberated stage. Okay, who wants to continue?
I'll continue, Prabhu.
Yes, thank you, Prabhu. Haribol.
Good. Also, if persons who are trying to be liberated hear such narrations as Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, then their path of liberation becomes very clear. Bhagavad Gita is the preliminary study of Srimad Bhagavatam. By studying the Gita, one becomes fully conscious of the position of Lord Krishna, and when he is situated at the lotus feet of Krishna, he understands the narrations of Krishna as described in Srimad Bhagavatam. Lord Chaitanya has therefore advised his followers that their business is to propagate Krishna Katha. Krishna Katha means narrations about Krishna. There are two Krishna Kathas, narrations spoken by Krishna and narrations spoken about Krishna. Bhagavad Gita is the narration or the philosophy or the science of God spoken by Krishna himself. Srimad Bhagavatam is the narration of the activities and transcendental pastimes of Krishna. Both are Krishna Katha. It is the order of the Lord Chaitanya that Krishna Katha should be spread all over the world, because if the conditioned soul suffering under the pangs of material existence take to Krishna Katha, then the path of liberation will be open and clear. The purpose of presenting this book is preliminary to induce people to understand Krishna or Krishna Katha, because thereby they can become freed from material bondage. The Krishna Katha will also be very much appealing to the most materialistic persons, because Krishna's pastimes with the gopis, cowherd girls are exactly like the loving affairs between young girls and boys within this material world. Actually, the sex feeling of found in human society is not unnatural, because the same sex feeling is there in the original personality of God. And the pleasure potency is called Srimati Radharani. The attraction of loving affairs on the basis of sex feeling is the original feature of the Supreme Personality of God. And the conditioned souls, being part and parcel of the Supreme, have such feelings also, but they are experienced within a perverted, minute condition. Therefore, when those who are after sex life in this material world hear about Krishna's pastime with the gopis, they will relish transcendental pleasure, although it appears to be materialistic. The advantage will be that they will gradually be elevated to the spiritual platform. In the Bhagavatam, it is stated that if one hears in the pastimes of the Lord Krishna with the gopis from authorities with submission, then he will be promoted to the platform of transcendental loving service to the Lord, and the material disease of lust within his heart will be completely vanquished. In other words, he will counteract the material sex life. Krishna will be appealing to the liberated souls and to persons who are trying to be liberated, as well as to the gross conditioned materialist. According to the statement of Maharaja Parikshit, who here heard about Krishna from Sukadeva Goswami, Krishna Katha is equally applicable to every human being in whatever condition of life he is in. Everyone will appreciate it to the highest magnitude. But Maharaja Parikshit also warned that persons who are simply engaged in killing animals and in killing themselves may not be very much attracted to Krishna Katha. In other words, ordinary persons who are following the regulatory moral principles of scriptures, no matter in what condition they are found, will certainly be attracted, but not persons who are killing themselves. The exact word used in the Srimad Bhagavatam is Pashugna, which means killing animals or killing oneself. Persons who are not self-realized and who are not interested in spiritual realization are killing themselves. They are committing suicide, because this human form of life is specially meant for self-realization. By neglecting this important part of his activities, one simply wastes his time like the animals. So he is Pashugna. The other meaning of the word refers to those who are actually killing animals. This means persons who are animal eaters, even dog eaters, and they are all engaged in killing animals in so many ways, such as hunting, opening slaughterhouses, etc. Such persons cannot be interested in Krishna Katha. King Parikshit was especially interested in hearing Krishna Katha, because he knew that his forefathers, and particularly his grandfather Arjuna, were victorious in the battle of Kurukshetra only because of Krishna. We may also take this material world as a battlefield of Kurukshetra. Everyone is struggling hard for existence in this battlefield, and at every step there is danger. According to Maharaja Parikshit, the battlefield of Kurukshetra was just like a vast ocean full of dangerous animals. His grandfather Arjuna had to fight with such great heroes as Bhishma, Drona, Karna, and many others who were not ordinary fighters. Such warriors have now been compared to the Tibigla fish in the ocean. The Tibigla fish can very easily swallow big whales. The great fighters on the battlefield of Kurukshetra could swallow many Arjunas very easily. But simply due to Krishna's mercy, Arjuna was able to kill all of them. Just as one can cross with no exertion over the little bit of water contained in the hoofprint of a calf, so Arjuna, by the grace of Krishna, was able to very easily jump over the ocean of the battle of Kurukshetra. Maharaja Parikshit very much appreciated Krishna's activities for many other reasons. Not only was his grandfather was saved by Krishna, but he himself also was saved by Krishna. At the end of the battle of Kurukshetra, all the members of the Kuru dynasty, both the sons and grandsons on the side of Dhritarashtra, as well as those on the side of Pandavas, died in the fighting. Except the five Pandava brothers, everyone died on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Maharaja Parikshit was at that time within the embryo of his mother. His father Abhimanyu, the son of Arjuna, also died on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. And so Maharaja Parikshit was the posthumous child. When he was in the womb of his mother, a Brahmastra weapon was released by Ashwatthama to kill the child. When Parikshit Maharaj's mother Uttara approached Krishna, Krishna, seeing the danger of abortion, entered her womb and as the super soul and saved Maharaja Parikshit. Maharaja Parikshit's other name is Vishnu Ratha. because he was saved by Lord Vishnu himself while still within the womb. Thus, everyone in any condition of life should be interested in hearing about Krishna and his activities because he is the supreme absolute truth, the personality of God. He is all pervading. He is living within everyone's heart and he is living in his universal form. And yet, as described in the Bhagavad Gita, he appears as he is in the human society just to invite everyone to his transcendental abode, back to home, back to Godhead. Everyone should be interested in knowing about Krishna, and this book is presented with this purpose that people may know about Krishna and be perfectly benefited in this human form of life. In the ninth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Sri Baladeva is described as the son of Rohini, a wife of Vasudeva. Vasudeva, the father of Krishna, had 16 wives, and one of them was Rohini, the mother of Balrama. But Balrama is also described as the son of Devaki. So how could he be the son of both Devaki and Rohini? This was one of the questions put by Maharaja Parikshit to Sukadeva Goswami, and it will be answered in due course. Maharaja Parikshit also asked Sukadeva Goswami why Shri Krishna, just after his appearance as the son of Vasudeva, was immediately carried to the house of Nanda Maharaja in Vrindavan Gokula. He also wanted to know about what the activities of Lord Krishna were while he was in Vrindavan and while he was in Mathura. Besides that, he was especially inquisitive to know why Krishna killed his maternal uncle Kamsa. Kamsa, being the brother of his mother, was a very intimate superior to Krishna. So how was it that he killed Kamsa? Also, he asked how many years Lord Krishna remained in human society, how many years he reigned over the kingdom of Dwaraka, and how many wives he accepted there. A Kshatriya king is generally accustomed to accept more than one wife. Therefore, Maharaja Parikshit also inquired about his number of wives. The subject matter of this book. The subject matter of this book is Sukadeva Goswami answering to these and other questions asked by Maharaja Parikshit. So, Prabhu, I think from here somebody else can read, and please forgive me that I have to drop now because due to
No
the
problem. Thank you so much.
circumstances. Thank you so much for your association. Please accept my humble obeisances. All blessed to Srila Prabhupada. Please forgive me, Prabhu.
No
Sorry.
problem. Thank you so much, Prabhu. It was very nice that you read.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Le Bohang Prabhu, Dandat Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Prabhu, do you want to continue from this part?
Oh, you're referring to me?
Yes, Prabhu.
Oh, yes, it's still okay.
Did we leave? Oh, yeah, we were here, I think.
Sorry?
Yes, Prabhu, you can continue from here.
Okay, can I just tilt my phone? The position then, the position of Maharaj Prakshit and Sukadev Goswami is unique.
Parikshit.
Parikshit.
Yes, Prabhu.
Maharaj Parikshit is the right person to hear about the transcendental pastimes of Krishna and Sukadev Goswami. And Sukadev Goswami is the right person to describe them. If such a fortunate combination is made possible, then Krishna Katha immediately becomes revealed, and people may benefit to the highest possible degree from such a conversation. This narration was presented by Sukadev Goswami when Maharaj Parikshit was prepared to give up this body, fasting on the banks of the Ganges, in order to assure Sukadev Goswami that by hearing Krishna Katha, he would not feel tired. Maharaj Parikshit expressed himself very frankly. Hunger and thirst may give trouble to ordinary persons or to me, but the topic of Krishna are so nice that one can continue to hear about them without feeling tired, because such hearing situates one in the transcendental position. It is understood that one must be very fortunate to hear about Krishna Katha seriously. Like Maharaj Parikshit, he was especially intent on the subject matter because he was expecting death at any moment. Everyone of us should be conscious of death at every moment. This life is not at all assured. At any time, one can die. It does not matter whether one is a young man or an old man. So, before death takes place, we must be fully Krishna conscious. At the point of his death, King Parikshit was hearing Srimad Bhagavatam from Sukadev Goswami when King Parikshit expressed his untiring desire to hear about Krishna. Sukadev Goswami was very pleased. Sukadev was the greatest of all Bhagavata reciters, and thus he began to speak about Krishna pastimes, which destroy all inauspiciousness in this age of Kali. Sukadev Goswami thanked the king for his eagerness to hear about Krishna, and he encouraged him by saying, "My dear king, your intelligence is it what boy what's that word, Prabhu? Is it me or next to your intelligent is
Very, I think it's very keen. I think
Yes,
very
very,
keen.
very.
it is not visible, but it could be very keen because it goes with the sentence.
Oh, very keen. Because you are so eager to hear about the pastimes of Krishna. He informed Maharaj Parikshit that hearing and chanting of the pastimes of Krishna are so auspicious that the process purifies the three varieties of men involved. He who recites the transcendental topics of Krishna, he who hears such topics, and he who inquires about him. These pastimes are just like the Ganges water which flows from the toe of Lord Vishnu. They purify the three worlds, the upper, middle, and lower planetary system.
People. Okay, let's see. Okay, we can try reading the first chapter. It is 8 pages. But what is the time? It's 9. Is it too late or should we read it?
Like read maybe one,
Okay,
two
bro, we
pages.
can read.
Half. We can easily read half the pages. 4 pages we can read.
Okay, Prabhu, let's
No, bro,
try.
we can read like a chapter.
Yes, Prabhu, okay, I can start. I read one page. Advent of Lord Krishna. Once the world was overburdened by the unnecessary defense force of different kings who were actually demons, but were posing themselves as the royal order. At that time, the whole world became perturbed, and the predominating deity of this earth, known as Bhumi, went to see Lord Brahma to tell of her calamities due to the demoniac kings. Bhumi assumed the shape of a cow and presented herself before Lord Brahma with tears in her eyes. She was bereaved and was weeping just to invoke the Lord's compassion. She related the calamitous position of the earth, and after hearing this, Lord Brahma became much aggrieved. And he at once started for the ocean of milk, where Lord Vishnu resides. Lord Brahma was accompanied by all the demigods, headed by Lord Shiva, and Bhumi also followed. Arriving on the shore of the milk ocean, Lord Brahma began to pacify the Lord Vishnu, who formerly saved the earthly planet by assuming the transcendental form of the boar. In the Vedic mantras, there is a particular type of prayer called Purusha Sukta. Generally, the demigods offer their obeisances unto Vishnu, the Supreme Person of Godhead, by chanting the Purusha Sukta. It is understood herein that the predominating deity of every planet can see the Supreme Lord of this universe, Brahma, whenever there is some disturbance in this planet, and Brahma can approach the Supreme Lord Vishnu, not by seeing him directly, but by standing on the shore of the ocean of milk. There is a planet within this universe called Shveta Dvipa, and on that planet there is an ocean of milk. It is understood from various Vedic literatures that just as there is an ocean of salt water within this planet, there are various kinds of oceans in other planets. Somewhere there is an ocean of milk, somewhere there is an ocean of oil, somewhere there is an ocean of liquor, and many other types of oceans. Purusha Sukta is the standard prayer which the demigods recite to appease the Supreme Person of Godhead, Kshirodakasai Vishnu, because He is lying on the ocean of milk. He is called Kshirodakasai Vishnu. He is the supreme personality of Godhead, through whom all the incarnations within this universe appear. After all, the demigods offered the Purusha Sukta prayers to the supreme personality of Godhead. They apparently heard no response. The Lord Brahma Lord Brahma personally sat in meditation. There was a message transmission from Lord Vishnu to Brahma. Brahma then broadcasted the message to the demigods. That is the system of receiving Vedic knowledge. The Vedic knowledge is received first by Brahma from the Supreme Person of Godhead through the medium of the heart. As stated in the beginning of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Tene Brahmarida, the transcendental knowledge of the Vedas was transmitted to Lord Brahma through the heart. Here also, in the same way, only Brahma could understand the message transmitted by Lord Vishnu, and he broadcasted it to the demigods for their immediate action. The message was, the Supreme Person of Godhead will appear on the earth very soon along with his supreme powerful potencies, and as long as he remains on the earth planet to execute his mission of annihilating the demons and establishing the devotees, the demigods should also remain there to assist him. They should all immediately take birth in the family of the Yadu dynasty, wherein the Lord will also appear in due course of time. The Supreme Person of Godhead himself, Krishna, personally appeared as the son of Vasudeva. Before he appeared, all the demigods, along with their wives, appeared in different pious families in the world just to assist the Lord in executing his mission. The exact word used here is tat priyartam, which means the demigod should appear on the earth in order to please the Lord. In other words, any living entity who lives only to satisfy the Lord is a demigod. The demigods were further informed that the plenary portion of Lord Krishna, Ananta, who is maintaining the universal planets by extending his millions of hoods, would also appear on the earth before Lord Krishna's appearance. They were also informed that the external potency of Vishnu, Maya, with whom all the conditioned souls are enamored, would also appear just to execute the purpose of the Supreme Lord. After instructing and pacifying the demigods as well as Bhumi with sweet words, Lord Brahma, the father of all Prajapatis or progenitors of universal population, departed for his own abode, the highest material planet called Brahmaloka. Okay, Haribol, who wants to continue?
Yes, so
Yeah, I
we
can
can
continue.
continue.
Yeah, we probably we can read.
Oh,
read.
okay. Please continue, brother. Please continue. I will continue later.
We'll both do half pages. So we both can read. Yeah.
It's okay, bro. Continue.
The leader of Yadu dynasty, King Surasena, was ruling over the country known as Mathura, the district of Mathura, as well as the district known as Surasena. On account of the rule of the king Surasena, Mathura became the capital city of all kings of Yadus. Mathura was made capital of the kings of Yadu dynasty because the Yadus were a very pious family and knew that Mathura is the place where Lord Krishna lives eternally, just as also he lives in Dwarika. Once upon a time, Vasudeva, the son of Surasena, just after marrying Devaki, was going home on his chariot with his newly wedded wife. The father of Devaki, known as Devaka, had contributed a significant dowry because he was very affectionate toward his daughter. He had contributed hundreds of chariots completely decorated with gold equipment. At that time, Kamsa, the son of Ugrasena, in order to please his sister Devaki, had voluntarily taken the reins of the horses of Vasudeva's chariot and was driving. According to the custom of Vedic civilization, when a girl is married, the brother takes the sister and brother-in-law to their home. Because the newly married girl may feel too much separation from her father's family, the brother goes her until she reaches her father-in-law's house. The fully the full dowry contributed by Devaka was as follows: 400 elephants fully decorated with golden garlands, 15,000 decorated horses, and 1,800 chariots. He also arranged for 200 beautiful girls to follow his daughter. The Kshatriya is married a few dozens of the bride's young girlfriends in addition to the bride go to the house of the king. The followers of the queen are called maidservants, but actually they act as the friends of queen. This practice is prevalent from the time immemorial traceable at least to the time before the advent of Lord Krishna 5,000 years ago. So Vasudeva brought home another 200 beautiful girls along with his wife. Vivek Prabhu, you can read now.
No, but we can continue. If there are still pages are there, so we can continue.
Okay. While the bride and the bridegroom were passing along on the chariot, there were different kinds of musical instruments playing to indicate the auspicious moment. There were conch shells, bugles, drums, and kettle drums combined together. They were vibrating a nice concert. The procession was passing very pleasingly, and Kansa was driving the chariot. Then suddenly there was a miraculous sound vibrated from the sky, which especially announced to Kamsa, Kamsa, you are such a fool. You are driving the chariot of your sister and your brother-in-law, but you do not know that the eighth child of this sister will kill you. Kamsa was the son of Ugrasena of the Bhoja dynasty. It is said that Kamsa was the most demoniac king of all Bhoja dynasty kings. Immediately after hearing the prophecy from the sky, he caught hold of Devaki's hair and was just about to kill her with his sword. Vasudeva was astonished at this Kamsa's behavior, and in order to pacify the cruel, shameless brother-in-law, he began to speak as follows. With great reason and evidence, he said, My dear brother-in-law Kamsa, you are the most famous king of the Bhoja dynasty, and people know that you are the greatest warrior and a valiant king. How is it that you are so infuriated that you are prepared to kill a woman who is your own sister at this auspicious time of her marriage? Why should you be so much afraid of death? Death is already born along with your birth. From the very day you took your birth, you begin to die. Suppose you are 25 years old. That means you have already died 25 years. Every moment, every second, you are dying. Why then should you be so much afraid of death? Final death is inevitable. You may die either today or in 100 years. You cannot avoid death. Why should you be so much afraid? Actually, death means annihilation of the present body. As soon as the present body stops functioning and mixes with the five elements of material nature, the living entity within the body accepts another body according to his present action and reaction. It is just as when a man walks on the street, he puts forward his foot, and when he is confident that his foot is situated on sound ground, he lifts another foot. In this way, one after another, the body changes and the soul transmigrates. See how the plant forms change from one twig to another so carefully? Similarly, the living entity changes his body as soon as the higher authorities decide on his next body. As long as living as long as a living entity is conditioned within this material world, he must take material bodies, one after another. His particular body is offered by laws of nature according to the actions and reactions of this life. This body is exactly like one of the bodies which we always see in the dreams. During our dream of sleep, we create so many bodies according to our mental creation. We have seen gold and we have also seen a mountain. So in a dream, we can see a golden mountain by combining these two ideas. Sometimes in a dream, we say that we see that we have a body which is flying in the sky, and at that time we completely forget our present body. Similarly, these bodies are changing. When you have one body, you forget the past body. During a dream, we may make contact with so many new kinds of bodies, but when we are awake, we forget them all. And actually, these material bodies are creation of our mental activities. But at the present moment, we do not recollect our past bodies. The nature of the mind is flickering. Sometimes it accepts something and immediately it rejects the same thing. Accepting and rejecting is the process of the mind in contact with the five objects of sense gratification. From taste, smell, sound, and touch, i- in its speculative way, the mind comes in touch with the objects of sense gratification. And when the living entity desires a particular type of body, he gets it. Therefore, the body is an offering by the laws of material nature. The living entity accepts a body and comes out again into the material world to enjoy or suffer according to the constructions of the body. Unless we have a particular type of body, we cannot enjoy or suffer according to our mental proclivities inherited from previous life. The particular type of body is actually offered to us according to our mental condition at the time of the death. The luminous planets like the sun, moon, or the stars reflect themselves in different types of reservoirs like water, oil, or ghee. The reflection moves according to the movement of the reservoir. The reflections of the moon is on the water, and the moving water makes the moon also appear to be moving. But actually, the moon is not moving. Similarly, by mental concoction, the living entity attains different kind of bodies, although actually he has no connection with such bodies. But on account of illusion, being enchanted by the influence of Maya, the living entity thinks that he belongs to a particular type of body. That is the way of conditioned life. Suppose the living entity is now in a human form of body. He thinks that he belongs to a human community or a particular country or a particular place. He identifies himself in that way and unnecessarily prepares for another body which is not required by him. Such desires and mental conceptions are the cause of different types of bodies. The covering influence of material nature is so strong that the living entity is satisfied in whatever body he gets, and he identifies with that body and a great pleasure, with great pleasure. Therefore, I beg to request you not to be overwhelmed by the dictation of your mind and body. Vasudeva thus requested Kamsa not to be envious of his newly married sister. One should not be envious of anyone because envy is the cause of fear, both in this world and in the next, when one is before Yamraja, the Lord of punishment after death. Vasudeva appealed to Kamsa on behalf of Devaki, stating that she was his younger sister. He also appealed that at an auspicious moment, at the time of marriage, a younger sister or brother are supposed to be protected as one's children. The position is overall so delicate, Vasudeva reasoned, and that if you kill her, it will go against your high reputation. Vasudeva tried to pacify Kamsa by good instructions as well as by philosophical discrimination. But Kamsa was not able to be pacified because his association was demoniac. Because of his demoniac association, he was always a demon. Although born in a very high royal family, a demon never cares for any good instruction. You can now read Vivek Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. Okay, we will take. He's just like a determined thief. One can give him moral instruction, but it will not be effective. Similarly, those who are demonic or theistic by nature can hardly assimilate any good instruction. However, authorized it may be, that it that that is the difference between demigod and demon. Those who can accept God instructions and try to live their lives in that way are called demigods, and those who are unable to take such good instruction are called demons. Failing his attempt to pacify Kamsa, Vasudeva wondering how he would protect his wife Devaki when there is imminent danger, and uh, an intelligent person should try to avoid the dangerous position as far as possible. But if, in spite of enduring by all intelligence, one fails to avoid the dangerous position, there is no fault on his part. One should try his best to execute his duties. But if the attempt fails, he is not at fault. Vasudeva, though of his wife, has follows for the present. Let me save the life of Devaki. Then later on, if there are children, I shall see how to save them. If further, though, though if in the future I get a child who can kill Kamsa, just as Kamsa is thinking, then both Devaki and the child will be saved, because the law of providence is inconceivable. But now, some way or other, let me save the life of Devaki. There is no certainty how a living entity contacts a certain type of body, just as there is no certainty how the blazing fire comes in contact with a certain type of wood in the forest. When there is a forest fire, it is experienced that the blazing fire sometimes leaps sometimes leaps over one tree and catches another by the influence of the wind. Similarly, a living entity may be careful and fearful in the matter of executing his duties, but it is still very difficult for him to know what type of body he is going to get in the next life. Maharaj Bharata was very faithful executing the duties of self-realization, but by chance he contacted temporary affection for a deer, and he had to accept his next life in the body of a deer. Vasudeva, after deliberating on how to save his wife, began to speak to Kamsa with great respect, although Kamsa was the most sinful man. Sometimes it happens that a most virtuous person like Vasudeva has to flutter a person like Kamsa, a most vicious person. That is the way of all diplomatic transitions. Although Vasudeva was deeply aggrieved, he presented himself outwardly as cheerful. He addressed the shameless Kamsa in that way because he was so notorious. Vasudeva said to Kamsa, "My dear brother-in-law, please consider that you have no danger from your sister. You are awaiting some danger because you have heard a pro- prophetic voice in the sky. But the danger is to come from the sons of your sister who are not present now, and who knows, there may or may not be sons in the future." Considering all these, you are safe for the present, nor is there cause of fear from your sister. If there are any sons born of her, I promise that I shall present all of them to you for necessary action. Kamsa knew the value of Vasudeva's word of honor. Okay, and he was conceived by his argument. For the time being, he desisted from the heinous killing of his sister. Thus Vasudeva was pleased and praised the decision of Kamsa. In this way, he returned to his home. After due course of time, Vasudeva and Devaki gave birth to 8 male children as well as one daughter. When the first son was born, Vasudeva kept his word of honor and immediately brought the child before Kamsa. It is said that Vasudeva was very much elevated and famous for his word of honor, and he wanted to maintain this fame. Although it was very painful for Vasudeva to hand over the newly born child, Kamsa was very glad to receive him, but he became a little compassionate with the behavior of Vasudeva. This event is very exemplary. For a great soul like Vasudeva, there is nothing considering to be painful in the course of discharging one's duty. A learned person like Vasudeva carries out his duty without hesitations. On the other hand, a demon like Kamsa never hesitates in committing any abominable action. It is said, therefore, that a saintly person can tolerate all kinds of miserable conditions of life. A learned man can discharge his duties without awaiting favorable circumstances. A heinous person like Kamsa can act in any sinful way, and a devotee can sacrifice everything to satisfy the supreme personality of Godhead. Wow. Kamsa became satisfied by the action of Vasudeva. He was surprised to see Vasudeva keeping his promise and being compassionate upon him and pleased. He began to speak as follows: "My dear Vasudeva, you need not present this child to me. I am not in danger from this child. I have heard that the child born of you and Devaki will kill me. Why should I accept this child unnecessarily? You can take him back." When Vasudeva was returning home with his firstborn child, although he was pleased by the behavior of Kamsa, he could not believe in him because he knew that Kamsa was uncontrolled. An atheistic person cannot be frame, frame in his word of honor. One who cannot control the senses cannot be steady in his determination. Oh. The great politician Chanakya Pandit said, "Never put your trust in a diplomat or in a woman." Okay. Those who are addicted to unrestricted sense gratification can never be truthful, nor can they be trusted with any faith. At that time, the great sage Narada came to Kamsa. He was informed of Kamsa's becoming compassionate to Vasudeva and returning his firstborn child. Narada was very anxious to accelerate the descendant of Lord Krishna as soon as possible. He therefore informed Kamsa that personalities like Nanda Maharaj and all the coward men and girls and the wives of the coward man in Vrindavan, and on the other side Vasudeva, his father Surasena, and all his relatives born in the family of Varsini of the Yadu dynasty, were preparing for the appearance of the Lord. Narada warned Kamsa to be careful of the uh, friends and well-wishers and all the demigods taking birth in those families. Kamsa and his friends and advisors were all demons. Demons are always afraid of demigods. After being those informed by Narada about the appearance of the demigods in different families, Kamsa at once became alert. He understood that since the demigods had already appeared, Lord Vishnu must be coming soon. He at once arrested both in his brother-in-law Vasudeva and Devaki and put them behind prison bars. Within these prison, shackled in iron chains, Vasudeva and Devaki gave birth to a male child year after year, and Kamsa, thinking each of them babies, each of the babies to be the incarnation of Vasudeva, killed them one after another. He was after thinking each of them babies of the incarnation of Vasudeva, killed them one after another. Okay. He was particularly afraid of the eighth child, but after the visit of Narada, he came to the conclusion that any child might be killed. So any child might be Krishna. Therefore, it was better to kill all the babies who took birth of Devaki and Vasudeva. This action of Kamsa is not very difficult to understand. There are many instances in the history of the world of persons in the royal order who have killed father, mother, who have killed father, brother, or whole family and friends for the satisfaction of their ambitions. There is nothing astonishing about this, for the demonic can kill anyone for their nefarious ambitions. Kamsa was made aware of his previous birth by the grace of Narada. He learned that in his previous birth he was a demon of the name Kalanimi, Kalanimi, and that he was killed by Vishnu. Having taken his birth in the uh, Bhoja family, he decided to um, he decided to become the deadly enemy of the Yadu dynasty. Krishna was going to take birth in that family, and Kamsa was very much afraid that he would be killed by Krishna, just as he was killed his last birth. Sorry. Just as and and Kamsa was very much afraid that he would be killed by Krishna, just as he was killed in his last birth. He first of all imprisoned his father Ugrasena because he was the chief king among the Yadu, Bhoja and Anand. Sorry. Andhaka dynasties, and he also occupied the kingdom of Surasena, Vasudeva's father. He declared himself the king of all such places. Those ends the Bhaktivedanta, the purport of first chapter of Krishna, advent of Lord Krishna.
Ego. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much.
I'm thinking, how did Kamsa put his father in jail? Does anyone remember? Like how he managed to do that? If Ugrasena was king already, how the son put the king in the jail? I've never heard how it happened. Or was it explained somewhere? I don't think so.
Bro, can you come to last paragraph last?
Yes, Prabhu.
Because they are mentioned that as follows. Because he was a chief king among the Yadu,
Yes.
Bhoja, and Andhaka dynasties, and he also occupied the kingdom of Surasena, Vasudeva's father. He declared himself the king of all such places. Oh, like Prabhu, because like for demons, they like the selfishness is there, no?
Yes, Prabhu.
Maybe
But did Ugrasena fight with him? Was there a fight or something? Or did he just walk to the jail? Because usually the father is stronger than the son. So I was thinking how the son.
true. Yes, true. But I don't know that I don't have their idea.
And I again forgot who was Kalanemi. He was I forgot.
Past time is there, but like I don't remember. Bro.
So Asura named Kalanemi had 6 sons. Hamsa Suvikramakrata Damana Ripurmardana Krodaha Hanta Sadgarbas gave up association there. So Hiranyakashipu was the grandfather of the sons of Kalanemi. So Kalanemi is he the son of Hiranyakashipu? Yes.
Kamsa's grandfather is Hiranyakashipu.
Is it like that?
Kamsa's grandfather is Hiranyakashipu because Kamsa and Kalameni is same.
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, but in previous life, I think Kamsa's father was Kalanemi's father was, because it says Hiranyakashipu is grandfather of Kalanemi's sons. So Kalanemi
Like Prabhu, father is Ugrasena, maybe. Because here there is no mentioned about his father. Is here mentioned about grandfather.
Yes, Prabhu. But if grandfather is Hiranyakashipu, then it means Kalanemi must be that Hiranyakashipu must be the father of Kalanemi. If the grandsons are these, and the grandsons are the grandson of Hiranyakashipu, and Kalanemi is their father, then Kalanemi must be the son of Hiranyakashipu.
Yes, Prabhu, maybe.
Oh, no.
Don't have clear. Yeah.
Here it says, but Wikipedia, I don't know what that is. He was the son of Hiranyaksha, it said here. But Or is it?
Bro, why they mentioned grandfather?
Yes, Prabhu. Here is someone says Kala name is a demon that is son of Hiranyaksha. But why it was said there Hiranyakashipu? I'm confused. Here they said Kala name had 6 sons, and the grandfather of the 6 sons is Hiranyakashipu. So does this mean that Hiranyaksha was the father of Kalanemi, and still the sons of Kalanemi is called the grandsons of Hiranyakashipu also? I need to ask from Prahlad Prabhu, who is the father of Kalanemi?
Maybe because like Kala name is sons. For Kala name is sons belongs there. For sons, they for sons, Hiranyakashipu is grandfather. Kamsa's children is no 6 children is 6 sons are there, no Prabhu. For 6 children, the grandfather is Hiranyakashipu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Then for Kamsa, father is Hiranyakashipu only.
Yes, Prabhu. And see, in previous life, the 6 sons, the 6 children that Kamsa killed, they were before sons of Marichi, but because of having been cursed by Brahmana, they were obliged to take birth as grandsons of Hiranyakashipu. So Kamsa had taken birth as Kalanemi, and now he was obliged to kill his own sons. So the previous life, the sons that he was killing now was his own sons. And it says here, this was a mystery. This whole thing is a big mystery.
Like what meaning of mystery, bro? Like what? I don't know, but English that much.
Oh, it's like hard to understand.
Oh, okay, okay.
Garibo, tomorrow we read the
Very
chapter. So now let's read
It's true.
let's read Shiksastakam prayers. चेतो दर्पणमार्जनं भवमहादावाग्निर्वापनं श्रेयः कैरवचन्द्रिका वितरणं विद्यावादुजीवनम् आनन्दं बुद्धिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृतस्वादनं सर्वात्मा स्नपनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्णसङ्कीर्तनम्
नामकारी बहुधा निज सर्वशक्तेर् तत्रार्पिता नियमिता स्मरणेन खाला एतादृशी तव कृपा भगवन् ममापि दुर्दैवमिदृशं महे जनीननुग्रह.
Trinadapi sunichena taro api sahishnuna amanina manadena kritanya sadahari.
नदनं न जनं न सुन्दरीं कवितां वा जगदीश कामये मम जन्मनि जन्मनीश्वरे भगवद्भक्तरहित.
नन्दतनुजा किङ्करं पतितं मां विषमे भवां बुधौ कृपय तव पादपङ्कजस्थितधूलिसदृशं विचिन्तय
Nayanam galada srudaraya vadanam gadgadarudaya gira pulakairini chitam vapukada twavanam grahane bhavishyati.
अयनं गलदा शूरदा बोले युगायितं निमेषेण चक्षुषा प्रारवशायितं शून्यायितं जगत्सर्वं गोविन्दं विरहेण मे.
अस्लिश्च वा पादरतं पिनष्टु मामदर्शनं मर्महतां करोतु वा यथा तथा भाविता तुलम्पतो मत्प्राणनाथस्तु स एव नापरः. Glory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious.
O my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings. And thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names. But I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them.
One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower in the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly.
Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful woman, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth.
O son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal savior, yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet.
O my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up, and when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name?
O Govinda, feeling our separations, I'm considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from eyes like torrents of rain, and I'm feeling all vacant in the world in your absence.
I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so, even if he handles me roughly by his embrace, or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipable Lord unconditionally.
Hari Bol, Sri Siksastakam ki jai.
Jai.
Yeah,
Okay, first up,
to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name.
Hari Bol. Consider the names of the demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal with the Lord of with the or independent of the Lord of the name of Lord Vishnu.
To disobey the orders of the spiritual master or thinking him as an ordinary person.
Hari Bol.
Fourth one is like to
To blaspheme
blank
the
the Vedic literature or literature perseverance with the Vedic version.
And then the fifth one is to think of the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be an imagination, something like that.
Is to
To
consider
consider
With a
to give some interpretation
interpretation
the
about
interpretation to the holy name of the Lord.
and to commit
Seventh
sinful
one is
activities on the
yes,
strength of the names. No,
is
to commit
sinful activities on the name strength of the holy name.
consider
Consider the chanting of Hare Krishna to be an to consider the chanting of Hare Krishna to be an auspicious ritualistic activities which is offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities, karma kanda.
to instruct the faithless persons about the glories of the holy name.
Last one is to consider the no yes to consider the No. What is it last? To
Not
consider the
Complete faith.
to not have complete faith in the holy name of the Lord
maintain.
after maintaining so many maintaining so many attachment. Sorry, maintaining so many attachment to the material things after understanding so many instructions of the instructions. Like I don't know, like a proper like after after hearing so many instructions and an inattentive while chanting is also an offense like that.
Yes. Haribol.
Proper
Every devout who claims to
intention.
be Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to cultivate the desired success. Krishna Prema. Vancha kalpatarupyascha. Danam pavanebhyo Vaishnava. Haribol. Ananda Gaura.
Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much.
Jai Nitai Gaura Prem Nande.
Right.
Haribol.
Right. Really,